Thinking about self-publishing and don't know where to start? Join the Spa Girls each week for 30 minutes of honest advice, tips and resources. I'm Trudy J and I'm here with Cheryl Phipps.
Hi there.
Shah Barrett.
Hello.
And Wendy Vella.
Hello.
Hello. And this week we have a fascinating guest. We've got Freya, who is Wendy and Cheryl's Pilates instructor. Is that right?
Yes.
Yay! And she's going to talk to us all about how to stay healthy and well in trying times, but also just when you're an author who's sitting on their butt all day long and not really moving enough. So I'm going to hand it over to Wendy, and she's going to do Freya's intro, and then we'll get started.
Freya Scollay is owner of Symmetry in Motion, a fully equipped Pilates and vibration studio and equestrian centre for humans and horses. Freya is a qualified osteopath who has been teaching Pilates for 14 years. Freya's Pilates teaching is complemented by mountain bike and road cycling at world and national level, adventure racing, marathons and equestrian dressage at advanced level, and a smidgen of jumping. Welcome, Freya.
Hey, Freya.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Freya,
Cheryl and I go to Freya a couple of times a week, and she has a studio set up at her home.
It's amazing.
Oh, it's great. And it's called Reformers Pilates. So it's a resistance-based thing, and it's fantastic. But first of all, I want Freya to tell us who she's in lockdown with.
This is just going to sound bad. I'm sharing lockdown basically with a zoo. I've got 6 horses of my own. They're competition creatures. I've got one crazy young Ridgeback Cross hound who is driving me insane, and after this I may give her away. I've got 2 cats, one that blew her cruciate ligament to bits on day 3 of lockdown.
Oh, no.
My gosh.
So Tajine is living in the osteo clinic, which is appropriate because she's in care. And then I've got these 4 pigs, 3 Auckland Island rescue pigs who have become Facebook superstars. Is that all I've got? I think
No,
chickens. Chickens.
Oh, no, the chickens are moving out. They've had enough of the dog. I've seen the chickens next door. I love my neighbours. They've basically taken over my chickens. Yes to the chickens leaving.
No, that's not fair, Freya, because we drop all our scraps off when we come up and give them to the chickens and the pigs.
Oh, look, let me tell you, the pigs were running around the house last night. I felt like I was in some sort of Western video where you're trapped in your home and there's a horde of guys riding around you with their horses, and the pigs were pinking and carrying on. And I had to message a couple of clients who've been kindly dropping off food and going, I think you're late. The pigs are having a tantrum.
Yeah.
Oh, so, that's my life at the moment.
Wow.
Brilliant. That is so cool. We love it. We love going up there because it's amazing. So it's quite a hard time for everyone at the moment. You know, none of us are leaving the house. We've got reduced mobility, and most people that are watching this will be writers. And, what sort of effect is this going to have on our bodies if we choose to just stay seated and not do too much during this time when we are in lockdown? What are you thinking mentally and physically? How are we going to come out of it?
I mean, on the physical side of things, bodies need to keep moving. We're designed to move. We all sit too much anyway, whether you're a writer or an office worker or anybody. We all like Facebook and email. So really, all my advice during this time is get up and move. Set yourself a timer and get up and walk around the house, go for a walk around your yard. Your joints need to be moving. You need to be moving so that joint fluid and blood and lymph can continue to course well through your body to flush things out and to keep things healthy. Mentally, it's a good question. I mean, you guys are happiest when you're writing, aren't you?
Yeah, we were actually saying, Freya, we're struggling.
Really?
We've been struggling a little bit to write, and we couldn't really work out why during this time.
And is that because you're not getting out and spending time with other people or outside?
Yeah, I think that's part of it.
I think it's worry too. I think it's that mental anxiety, and it takes up your brain, and a lot of what we do is very mental. Like we get our stimulation through stuff going on in our heads, and if it's
it's definitely a tough time, isn't it? Right? I mean, I personally, I can't work at this time, so it's a really tough time. Financially, there's nothing happening. So, I guess my only advice is to try and look at it as a time of change and see what I've learned about myself, I will definitely be applying to the future. It's been really interesting about where I spend my money and how busy I can make myself, and what I don't do for my well-being, and where I don't listen to my friends, and you know, and what friends don't listen to me. It's really been a time of just kind of sort of quietly looking at things, and not in a negative way. Try to sit down and go, wow, look how stuff is changing, and it's only day 21.
That's so true.
By day 30, 40, whatever we're going to be doing. I think things are going to be different. But I've read something the other day that said, you know, make sure you get up in the morning and shower and make your bed. And I've had to do stuff like making sure that at the end of the evening, you know, my kitchen is clean and my house is clean. So when I get up in the morning, I see a space and I'm like, hey, look at my great tidy space. And just I put on a lot of little things that give me a little bit of joy and a wee bit of, oh, yay. And try and do that every day, whether it's writing another paragraph or going outside and weeding a garden or baking a cake or patting your cat or chatting to Wendy and Cheryl, or I don't know.
What about fresh air? It's getting out in that fresh air is important?
Oh, 100% important. We could talk about that in a million levels, couldn't we? Getting out, just being out with nature, getting vitamin D, standing up and going for a walk. Absolutely. Get outside as often. Go and stand in the rain, get wet. You know?
Do you think there's an hourly sort of rotation with sitting and movement that we should get into, like a percentage of an hour? Or
I knew you were going to ask me this, and I can remember because I did my osteopathy as an adult student. There were lots and lots of theories about that, about whether we should, you know, every 7 minutes, every 14 minutes, every 20 minutes, every 45 minutes, every 2 hours. And when I was doing my thesis, I was like, oh my God, I'm in a zone. If I get up every 20 minutes, my zone is gone. So I got to the point where I was kind of like, okay, I've got a client who's really sedentary at the moment. She doesn't actually like to get outside. And I've said to her at the moment, 7 times a day, I need you to do this. And I don't mind when you do them or what space you have between them, but you must do that in your awake time. So I would suggest, you know, if you're in the writing zone, don't set an alarm clock and break your writing zone. I mean, you guys have already told me that you're having trouble writing, so don't break it when you're in the zone. But do set yourself daily goals of, getting up, whether it's 7 minutes you go for a walk or go out for an hour, or maybe get up in the morning and go for a walk for 35 or 40 minutes, or do some push-ups or jump
kind of done.
Turn on your favourite song and have a boogie, I don't know, and go into your writing zone.
What about when you're actually sitting at your desk? There must be some things that we can do that would help. We can't get up.
Look, again, being real, I could tell you as an osteopath that you should sit square and have your feet evenly on the floor and set your desk up ergonomically and do all those sorts of things. And yes, I suggest you do all of that. Having written a thesis, I know when you're in the zone, you sit however you like and you write and you get it done. And when you've done it, you feel so happy because you've done it anyway. But look, be mindful. Be mindful of how you sit. Try to be square on it and move. You know, my favorite thing is glutes. You all know that. When we sit all the time, we get into our hip flexors, which are in the front of your pelvis. Every now and then, bob yourself up and down on your butt, you know, clench your glutes. Do stuff to offset what you're doing and locking yourself into your sit.
For everyone who
put your hands behind your head and have a read, you know.
For everyone who can't see the video, I suggest you go and watch the YouTube video because Freya was just bouncing up and down on her butt. If you want to see what she's talking about, sorry, I had to mention that because
I did that on my office chair. The chair would break, so I'm guessing that Freya's on a giant ball.
She's very tiny. She's very
she is tiny.
I'm actually sitting on a box.
Are you? Okay, you're bouncy.
In the studio, I might say.
Shoulders.
Sorry, interrupted your flow. So it was shoulders was next, like putting your arms up over your
shoulders.
head.
I just interlock my fingers, put my hands behind my head, pull my elbows back behind me, and lean back and look up. You know, just stretch your shoulders.
Wow.
Wow.
That's a good one, people.
You, Freya.
It'll open all your fingers up. You know, it's a big bang stretch. You don't have to spend hours doing it. You know, when you do that and you look up, look back and do a little twist side to side. You know, move your thoracic spine. You know? So lock your hands behind your head, look up at the ceiling and just do a wee rotation. And then
oh my gosh.
And anyone who's listening
We need
audio
music.
we go and watch the YouTube of that.
So that was brilliant.
It was brilliant. So what's the importance of breathing well through this time? Because we do tend to shallow breathe, right? And I know that you're a massive breathing person because you've been lecturing us for years about it.
Oh, where do we start with breathing? From a biomechanical aspect, breathing is what you use. It's one of the pumps in the body. So as you breathe in, your whole body, your whole core area fills with pressure, and then as you breathe out, the pressure releases. So that's really important. It helps move the fluid in your body, the fluid between your cells, your lymph fluid. It increases the pressure around your spine to help you be more upright. It decreases this pressure around your spine to help you relax. It opens your ribs. It opens your thoracic. We know that an inhale, a good inhale through your whole back will open all your vertebral column. That's your physical, your basic biomechanical. Breathing's a flight or fight mechanism. So you want to breathe softly and well into the base of your pelvis to keep you relaxed. You don't want to be, this time's tense enough. I'm sure a whole lot of us are sitting here going, what's going to happen next? Yeah. And we're already shallow breathing.
Yeah.
So spend some time breathing into your hips. Just, sit there like a little bit of a slug and take a big breath in, make yourself fat. My generation, we were all taught to breathe with our tummies tight the whole time. We were never taught to breathe into our abdominals.
Someone said that to me. That was a big revelation to me. He said, don't breathe through your chest, breathe through your stomach. And I always had breathed through my chest. And as soon as I stopped doing that and started breathing through my tummy, it suddenly was like, oh my God, this is how you're supposed to breathe.
Yeah. I mean, think about how much effect that has on your bowels when you fill all your bowels, that area fills with air and all your bowels going to squeeze and then you release them. So many of us as we mature, we get grumpy bowels and bowels are a real stress mechanism. Breathe into them, move them around with your breath. Put your hand on your tummy and make yourself fat as you breathe in. Breathe in. Yeah, really important.
So what's the most difficult thing, as you're getting older, that we neglect? Is it neck, back, hips, shoulders? What is it? Just, I think it's my little toe on my right foot that's the only thing that's really not aching these days. But
we have stand on it for you, Wendy.
We have injuries that we've neglected, and now as we've got older, we're really struggling. What would you suggest that? Gentle walking every day would be a good thing. Going to a yoga class. What if you were going to suggest one person? Pilates, clearly.
I'm all for any sort of exercise. Personally, and this is from a personal thing, and it's been really interesting being on lockdown and changing my daily exercise. Variety.
Yeah. Okay.
And as well, myself, as we get older, we stop doing stuff. You guys don't come to a closed gate and jump over the gate. You will all open the gate and unlock it and drive in. And when we were little, we jumped over gates and we picked stuff up without thought and we climbed trees. And so variety, keep moving and as many silly different ways as you can. And whether that's a yoga class, going to the gym, whether it's swimming, whether it's walking with your friends, just choose a variety. The pain thing is interesting as we age. My personal belief is that for many of us, as we age, our tolerance for pain changes. When you were younger and your muscles hurt, you celebrated it. If you went to the gym in your 20s and next day you got up and you were crippled, you were like, yes, I am a machine. I've watched this morning as a couple of clients from a few hard days of working out with me were like, oh, we're too sore today. So, you have to nurture them back into the class. And then they actually work really hard. We've had these injuries in our lives that have taught us to fear muscle pain. And therefore we stop moving. And I think that's really important to be aware of. Yes, there is definitely pain we need to respect. A lot of us don't get that very often. Pain is not your enemy. A lot of pain is the fact that celebrate. You can still work your body hard enough to go and move a pile of wood, and the next day, your back's going to be a bit sore, your neck's going to be sore, your shoulders are going to hurt. Woohoo! You're still moving. It's massive.
Yeah, we do. We do put barriers up. I mean, when I first came to you, I think probably I couldn't do a lot of things. And you were, every time I said to you, I can't do that, Freya, it hurts. And you went, oh, well, that's a shame. Keep going. And that was like.
And now you've got the career as the pole dancer that keep you going.
No, but what I'm saying is Freya has, I can do things, like I can actually crouch now, which is I never could do. I remember once Blake said to me, what's that down the side? And it was a stomach muscle down the side, so she taught me to realize just because I'm old and had as many breaks and carries, it actually, it's only me that's stopping me. You know what I mean? I can't do any more damage. And that was something Freya always, it sort of said to me, you've had these things happen, but you can't do anything else. So you need to get stronger to work around them. And that's something that I came out with. And I think as adults, we sort of get to the age and we go, oh, well, those days are done,
I'm too old now. I can't
now. I've got too much weight.
Oh, tell them about our class, about our people in our class, Freya.
Septuagenarians. We love our septuagenarians. We've got 3 particular septuagenarians. I've got to have more than 3 septuagenarians, but these ladies come at 6:45 in the morning. They can whip out 20 push-ups.
Oh my God,
one of them can whip out chin-ups.
So much better than me.
Yeah, but over the 4 years, these ladies, they do shit training. These ladies have just gone.
You better explain that.
I did.
Short burst, high intensity interval training.
Yeah.
These ladies get stronger all the time, and it's been so beautiful to watch. Well, you look at my next door neighbour who was crippled from spine surgery with no rehab. Who could hardly. She was at the supermarket on his, couldn't let go of the trolley, and has a disability sticker, and walked with 2 canes. She walks with no canes now.
Yeah, no.
For the first time last year, she walked to her stable. She hadn't been there for 6 years.
Wow.
Age is not a barrier. The mental agility you have about keeping moving and aging is your barrier, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, these ladies she's talking about, I used to be friends with one of the children and one of their kids, and I used to go up there and spend time with them. And when I saw her again, I was just stunned at how young and youthful and energetic, and she just
happy.
And she does these. Well, she does these exercises, and I'm just like, wow, I can't even.
Yeah,
oh my God, they really are.
All right, so age is not an issue.
No, age is no barrier.
It's your brain. Right. So how do we just do it? Do we just do it?
I've got a question. Just when you're just talking about crouching, though, Freya. So I had a Danish grandfather, and he used to crouch, like heels on the ground, and we fully crouch down. And he used to say that you should always, no matter what your age, be able to get down to a crouch and get up without holding onto anything. Now, as somebody that started putting her hand on the couch to get up, it suddenly came back to me that I should be practicing crouching. Is that a thing?
It's absolutely a thing.
Okay.
We should always work on getting in and out of a chair without using your hands. And you should get up off the toilet clenching your buttocks. And you should be able to, like the lady who I'm training at home with the spine injury, one of her exercises is to put a flat plate on the floor and go down and pick it up and lift it up every day for me 5 times. Wow. You need to be able to get down off the floor. You should be able to put yourself on the floor completely with your butt on the floor and get up with minimal hand work. You need to know if you fall, you can get up.
Yeah.
Especially as you get
so that's not using your back like a crane, though, that whole thing? Like this is you crouching down to pick up the thing? Or
the back like your crane thing.
That is so stuck in my head. Like there was a thing. Oh no, you're gonna break me for the words. Oh no.
Feel the wrinkles coming. You look at the Asian races who pick rice until they're 90 or 100 years old. I don't believe they have a squatting lesson.
Yeah.
I don't think from the age of 5 they will go to school and go, you must squat with a straight back and go right down and pick from the base and stand up with your chest up. Our bodies are meant to be used.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
yes, when you've been injured, we put in some protocols to help you get strong. My opinion later on through that injury process is we need to teach people to move normally. If you spend your whole life learning to guard, then you suddenly get to your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, your 70s, and you're like, oh my goodness, I can't do that. Because my knees are now a bit sore and I can't use my back properly. And therefore you lose that whole randomness of movement that we discussed earlier that I think is vital to the body working well. So anytime you take movement out of one part, another part compensates for it. So that's quite important to remember. And your spine is meant to bend and flex and twist, and you're meant to be strong in your core and your glutes and your legs to work. So there's always, you know, there's ifs and buts to everything, but just keep moving randomly.
Okay.
So stretching now. It's important to stretch morning and night, or just, you know, just basic stretching exercise, especially as you get older?
No, that's a really tough question.
Sorry.
It's good. It's good. Stretching is, again, like exercise. I believe it needs to be kept. It needs to be varied. We tend to. I'm a great example. I have a sort of a series of stuff I do every day, and I would stretch to suit that series of stuff I do every day. And then when I went and had to do other things, I was like, wow, you know, I actually don't swim very well anymore because horse riding, my feet are flexed, cycling, my feet are flexed, running, my feet are flexed, swimming, my feet are pointed. Suddenly I can only swim backwards because my feet are flexed. Your ankles. She's like, stretch your calves, stretch your shins. So stretching is something you can do by moving well. So whether you think about your stretching as stretching every morning, don't do it. Get up and walk around and get warm first, okay? Never stretch cold. That's the one thing I can always tell you. Do not stretch a cold body. It's so hard on it. But try to incorporate your stretching into what you do for your daily different movement stuff. We tend to go, oh, I'm going to get up this morning and I'll move around and then I'll do my back stretches and my leg stretches and my glute work. And you've just done the same thing every day again. So do not stretch first thing in the morning when you're cold.
Warm up first and then do it. The other thing is, like you're kind of talking about, like for example, I did karate and then I stopped doing it for a while, and then I noticed when I went back into it, there were certain things that I used to be able to do that I couldn't, and part of me would go, oh, it's just because I'm getting older and whatever, but actually you just get back into it again, don't you? Like you can stretch things that don't seem like they can stretch a certain way, things like that.
Fascia, which is the interconnecting tissue of everything is made out of a type of fascia, is so dynamic. And that dynamic does not change as we age, which has just been the most wonderful lesson to learn as I'm aging. Because when I remember I was young, I looked at it and thought, I'm going to get old and everything will be horrible. But you can always change it. It will always, this is where the variety of movement is so important, it will always become a little bit rigid when you don't move it. And it will always move and start moving again when you start moving it.
So all is not lost.
Far from it. You know, bones are fascia. They're always changing and healing and remodeling. Everything is always changing. We might not look as elastic on the outside, but the inner mechanisms are just so clever. They really are so clever. So yeah, just, you know, you could all go out tomorrow and decided you want to train to, I don't know, walk around the bays, and it would be absolutely possible.
Yeah, that's the amazing thing for me. Like I've never been able to run with everything that I've got going on, and that, but that's mental, isn't it? Like, you know, if I actually started to do the exercise and started to do the stretching and started to do the preparation towards doing it, but as you get older, you just like mentally go, that's not me. I can't do it. Shut it down, you know. Whereas kids, they'll go out and try anything. Yeah.
Look, you're always going to have those instances where we've lost cartilage or we've got arthritic stuff. Arthritis is a really interesting one. You can keep working the joints and keep them strong and mobile and really work on osteoarthritis. Rheumatoid's a different story. Where you're losing cartilage, you can help the muscles work around those areas to keep the joint space and stay mobile. There are definitely times where we look at joints and we go, okay, you should be cycling and not running.
Yeah.
Right. If you're not in that category where you know that things are just a bit achy and getting a bit old, you get out there and get strong, but get strong carefully. Don't get up in the morning and go, I haven't run for 5 years. I think I'll go and run 3Ks today. Just be a little bit smart about stuff.
Yeah. And that's when you injure yourself, isn't it? When you decide to go out there and do something you haven't done forever.
Yeah.
That
tight fascia goes, what?
Yeah. Ping.
I'll teach you. Just mess with me.
Yeah.
But it's like you can treat it. You can convince it to become flexible and mobile again, but you just have to do it carefully and step by step. Don't be impatient.
Definitely.
Like me.
Trudy's probably the most impatient person you'd ever meet.
Oh, that's harsh.
I'm pretty impatient. No, I said that about myself.
Hey, she knows it.
Oh.
What about the whole thing around? Sorry, Freya?
I really think you should be able to get up in the morning and just run 12Ks because you've done it for the last 3 years.
I know, right? I used to be able to do that. Why can't I do it today?
You can do it in here, eh?
Yeah.
That's not. Sorry,
the whole thing around no gain, no pain, no gain.
The whole thing around no pain, no gain.
That's what Wendy subscribes to.
She doesn't want to subscribe to it. That's what she was trying to get you to say.
Yeah. Wendy and I have this amazing relationship about no pain, no gain. Okay. From a professional perspective, when you're working with people on this spectrum where you're trying to get them fitter, stronger, more well, I need to make a decision about how much pain they will handle to make gain. You would definitely lose a client if you go, do this and do this and do this, and the client then rings you and goes, I'm dying, and you go, well, too bad, move on, keep going.
Yeah.
So,
do you secretly want to say that, and do you secretly think that?
Yes, 100%.
Okay. This is what you would tell the client so they don't freak out.
Unless you've got sort of like a fibromyalgia, or if you've got an injury or an autoimmune thing that I know is, that we've pushed a little too far, then definitely a whole lot of me is like, okay.
She never does that, I have to tell you. She never does that. She'll just give you the look.
She does give you the look, and she does do the words. If you say to her, that hurts, she goes, oh, that's good.
It's nice.
Very pleasant about it. Very pleasant about hurting you.
For me, it just goes back to that thing where, if you are still strong enough and mobile enough to cause yourself a bit of pain when you've done a bit of physical work, celebrate it. At the end of the day, have a glass of wine and go, oh my God, I'm going to hurt so much tomorrow, but it was so good.
You're talking about muscle pain though, right? Like you're talking about the difference between like your muscle hurting, like your glutes hurting versus being sore versus like, oh no, my bone feels like it's separated from the cartilage or something.
Yes, but that's muscle pain more often than not, isn't it?
I don't know. I'm using words that I don't really know the meaning to.
There are people who can't separate muscle pain or delayed onset muscle soreness, DOMS, which is really common. They can't separate that from bone damage.
Yeah.
There are times where you just really want to roll your eyes and go, really? We do not need to send you off for an X-ray. You aren't dying.
Yeah.
But you've got to respect people's ability to cope with their own pain and what they've been through that creates that pain relationship, and then work on changing it.
Yeah, just chipping away at things a little bit at a time until you have the desired effect.
From a professional's way, in a respectful way.
Yeah. And sorry, you go, Treadles.
I just want to know, is there a better time of day to exercise in your opinion?
No, that's really up to you, whatever works for you. If you're training for races or for an event, or you're going to go and walk something, and that walk starts at 6 a.m, then you need to be training at 6 a.m. If you like to go dancing and your dancing is from 7 p.m. till 10 p.m., then I would train in the evening because your body needs to be used to training in the evening. Otherwise, do what works for you. Train when it suits you, when you feel good about it. There's no need to torture yourself.
What about doing 3 lots of 10-minute bursts of exercise versus doing 1 30-minute exercise at one point during the day?
There's lots of research on that, and it's really 50-50. I would do whatever works for you, to be honest. Lots of people like to just do 10 minutes, and it can give you, especially I know from the brain stuff, when you're studying and sitting and typing, get up and do a little bit of 2 minutes of leaping and star jumps or lunges or dancing, and then go back to writing again, because it refreshes your body and your brain. But you wouldn't have to do that for 10 minutes. You could just do, I don't know, a 3-minute song you really like. I don't know. Trudy's good.
What about standing up versus sitting down, or sitting on one of those balls or something like that? Like, is that going to help us as writers?
No. Standing up versus sitting down. Again, research is really out on that. It's 50-50. Again, I would be whatever works for you. Standing still is as detrimental as sitting still. Are you going to stand well in perfect posture? Probably not. Will you sit well in perfect posture? Probably not. Sitting on a fit ball, are you working your stabilizers while you're sitting on that ball for 4 hours, or are you fatiguing them? Really interesting questions. No black and white answers for that.
It's interesting, isn't it, and also we're all different, aren't we? Some people can handle things mentally that others can't handle. Some people are willing to push themselves, some people aren't. We're all got such a different psyche. You can't have a one shoe fits all thing, can you, for exercise?
So you need to go and talk to Freya, and she will tell you. Because there was that research that came out where they were saying basically sitting for 8 hours a day was the new smoking. And as writers, we're all sitting all day, so that's kind of a scary thing.
Oh, really? Does sitting for 8 hours have that same chemical endorphin release that cigarette smoking does?
I just think it's bad. I think it's bad. Not that you were gonna get. Anyway.
Don't be doing that. She's the same as you, mate. She's a lot. She'll pick you up on it. I think the thing is, it's all very well and good to be told constantly that we should do this and eat well, and shouldn't eat sugar and shouldn't eat this and shouldn't eat that. The reality is that that's not life, is it? It's moderation, isn't it? And doing what suits us.
I can't tell you how much sugar I've needed during lockdown, because I've been doing so much. I've literally needed glucose. So like in the first week, I was like, I'm eating too much sugar. You know what? I'm looking great. I've gotten fitter. I'm still having sugar. If you eat intuitively, you will probably be okay. To be honest,
I don't know. My intuition tells me to eat lots and lots of chocolate. I don't really trust my intuition.
That's hard, isn't it? Because the brain runs on glucose. So when you're writing and thinking, you're depleting your glucose system anyway. So how do you balance that as writers and as students? I don't know. Very tough, I think.
I can't believe you're getting fitter. Does that make it bad for us for when we do come back?
You're in so much trouble if you haven't been.
Hope you guys have been working out, because she seems really tough. I'm just saying.
She's really tough. Hey, when she got me standing up in that hammock doing a handstand, I knew life was over, mate. She doesn't take no for an answer.
She has the most amazing equipment. She really does.
It is good.
Awesome. Have we got any more questions? Or?
No, I think we've actually. Have you got anything else you want to add, Freya?
No, just go out and enjoy. Get out and move and have fun with your movement.
I like that. Fun. Fun and randomness. Those are good words.
Because as soon as it becomes structured, you don't want to do it.
No.
Yeah. All right. Where can we find you, Freya, for all those people now who want to know?
Online, not your address. I'm
still super Facebook oriented. The website is not up and running yet, but that should be what COVID lockdown is doing. But so if you Google Symmetry in Motion, New Zealand, I come up there all over the place, and there's a phone number and email and Facebook links all over the place there.
Yeah, and she's a wonderful osteopath as well.
And we'll put them in the show notes.
Yeah, well, okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Freya. It's been amazing. And we will now all, we're now
going to go do exercise. We're going to go do
some exercise.
Random exercise. Where can we be found? Who wants to give us that?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we can be found at spargirlspodcast.com, and we are on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter at Spa Girls Podcast.
Awesome.
Cool.
Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you all for listening again to another episode of the Spa Girls Podcast. We will be back again next week, same time, same place. Otherwise, bye.
Bye.